morning, friends, and greetings, and welcome to the Bight Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado, registered pharmacist number 12275. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your vitality and health and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to the Bight Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we are here every day on the Bight Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 28 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure, because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to get off your medications and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. Our number is 855-660-4261, 855-660-4261. If you want to learn more about the longevity products, you got questions about ingredients, formulations, you want to help a loved one or workmate or friend get off their medications and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we're here for you. Likewise, if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you simply want to contribute to the conversation, 855-660-4261 is your number on the Bight Side. If you're interested in joining me and Dixie Sedgwick on our weekly phone calls, we're going to be talking about probiotics and some of the Jordan Rubin products this Sunday. We do them every Sunday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The dial-in number is 605-562-3140, 605-562-3140. Participant access code 444-973-pound, 444-973-pound, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay, welcome back to the Bight Side. We're going to continue talking about hormones, which are responsible for everything that happens in the body, every cell activity, everything that happens, everything the cell makes, everything a cell does, which ultimately means everything that happens in the body is initiated by this family of biochemicals we generically call hormones. The body is made of cells and stuff. Think raisin bread. Raisins and bread, cells and stuff. We're like raisin bread. We're made up of, instead of raisins and bread, we call the raisins and bread that make our bodies up, we call them cells and stuff. Action in the body, for good or bad, sickness or healthfulness, wellness or disease, occurs at the level of a cell. Body is just cells and stuff. The stuff, the muscles, the bones, the nerves, the blood, the enzymes, everything else. Everything in the body is the result of something that is made in a cell. The stuff is the result, the cells are the cause. The stuff is the material, everything that makes up the body, everything we call our bodies, and the cells are the little 3D printing machines that make it all up. It's really very simple when you break it down this way. All disease is cell disease. That simply means something goes wrong with a 3D printing machine or 3D printing machinery. Everything that happens in the cell happens via a button that is pushed, or a doorbell that is rung, or a switch that is turned on by a hormone. So cells make stuff, and they make stuff via some kind of switch that is turned on by a hormone. Hormone pushes a button, the cells make stuff. The word hormone itself refers to initiating an activity, initiating an action, pushing a button, turning on a doorbell, plugging up a socket. Any metaphor you like to think of, the point is that a hormone hits a cell and the cell does stuff. Hormones turn the outside world into the inside world. They turn the outside environment into the inside environment. Via the activity of hormones, everything we see in our environment, everything we perceive in our environment is turned into us. The body has this exquisite responsiveness to the environment. It responds to the environment, and the response to the environment is mediated or controlled by hormones. The senses perceive the outside world. We see something, we hear something, we feel something, we smell something, we taste something. A hormone is secreted in response to what we see and smell and taste, etc. And the cells respond by doing something or making something. In essence, the outside world is turned into the inside world, us, via the action of hormones. That makes these things really, really, really important. If we can learn to control our hormones, we can control everything in the body. And there's two major control points. There's 2 points where we can control hormone secretion. Do you think those are important points? You better believe they are. Unbelievably important. Just think about it. If everything in a cell comes from the activity of a hormone, if we can learn to control our hormones, we can learn to control what a cell makes. That's crazy important, and we have control, at least a degree of control over our hormones. There's 3 major control points, and we need to learn to master these control points if we're going to master our hormones and if we're going to master what a cell ends up making. There's 3 major control points that determine what kind of hormones are going to be secreted, control points that are in our control. 3 places where we can control our hormones. Thus, we can control how our body will show up, how our body will appear via what the cells make and do. If we're interested in controlling our bodies, if we don't want our bodies to be out of control, and we certainly don't, if we want to learn how to master our bodies, we need to master these control points. So what are these control points? What are these points where we can use our conscious will to control our bodies? Number 1, the foods we eat. Number 2, the thoughts we think. And number 3, the feelings we feel. It's as simple as that, you guys. The foods we eat, and by the foods we eat, I'm referring to water and the mighty 90 essential nutrients. They're not technically foods, I suppose, but same idea. And the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel. Every time we eat a food, an entire cascade of hormone chemistry begins. Thus, the importance of foods and nutrients and the mighty 90. And you can probably throw in oxygen as well. Not really a food, I suppose, but a type of nutrient. The foods, the nutrients, mighty 90, and oxygen are major control points for hormone secretion. And ultimately, major control points for health or the lack thereof. Every time we eat a food, every time we think about eating a food, every time we take a supplement, every time we breathe, every time we drink water, an entire hormonal cascade begins. And this is the same every time we think a thought, and this is the same every time we feel a feeling. Every time we think a thought, an entire hormone cascade is initiated. Every time we feel a feeling, an entire hormone cascade is initiated. This is what is behind what's called the placebo effect. The placebo effect is this miracle that nobody's ever been able to explain, but I'm telling you how it works right now. It says that simply believing that a medicine will work will make it work, or what they call the nocebo effect, which is believing a medicine won't work makes it not work. The nocebo effect or the placebo effect, these are evidences that we have of the relationship between thoughts and our body. It's called mind-body medicine. And to this day, there are physicians who think that mind-body medicine is some kind of airy-fairy hippie talk. It's not. Via the activity of hormones, mind-body medicine, or thoughts and feelings, construct ultimately how our body shows up, construct our body. It's the reason we can think ourselves and feel ourselves sick. It's the reason we can think ourselves and feel ourselves well. Thoughts and feelings are intimately linked to hormones. Food and nutrients, oxygen and water, likewise, intimately connected to hormones, and thus intimately connected to how our bodies show up. Broadly speaking, we can categorize 2 major types of hormones based on their effects. We got hormones of fear, and we got hormones of safety. Under the stimulation of hormones, of safety hormones of safety, substances like oxytocin, dopamine, acetylcholine perhaps. These are hormones that are associated with relaxation and safety. When these things are secreted, we lighten up, we relax, we feel pleasure. Under the stimulation of fear hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, it should come as no surprise that our bodies contract and that healing stops and sickness begins. Hang tight. I'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back right after this. see, 8 to 9 Pacific time. How does that work? 11 to 12 Eastern time, 10 to 11 Central time, I suppose. Monday through Friday, we've also got archives up at brightsideben.com. We've got 3+ years of archives, lots of good health information. You can also purchase any of the longevity products you hear us talk about. On the Bright Side, you hear us recommend or advertise on the Bright Side at brightsideben.com, or you can call the Bright Side Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. If you're interested in joining the Bright Side Ben team for a one-time $10 fee, you can start a longevity business, make some money selling longevity products, and help spread the word. Click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com or call the Bright Side Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. I am looking for a couple of business builders, hustlers who want to make some money selling longevity products, helping change lives, helping spread information about how important a nutritional supplement program can be. And you can make a significant amount of money building a longevity business, and I can help you do that. I'm looking for a couple of, just 2, maybe 3 folks who are really interested in building a business, and I can help you do that by coming out and supporting you, going out and doing talks. We can build a business together. So when you call the Bright Side Ben phone team, if you're interested, tell them you want to be a business builder. You want to be one of the 2 or 3 people that I'm looking for to help me spread the word, disseminate information, turn people on to the longevity products. Let them know, 866-735-2470. If you're interested in just simply purchasing products, of course, you can also do that by calling 866-735-2470. Our number today is 855-660-4261. 855-660-4261. And we're talking hormones, hormone health. There's hormones of fear. There's hormones of love and safety. Excessive and chronic secretion of fear hormones results in sickness, results in disease, and this is why you never want to fall into fear any longer than an extremely short-term emergency response. There's a place for fear, quick fear, getting out of a dangerous, survival-threatening situation, life-threatening situation. Obviously, fear has a role to play, but it's the chronic, long-term secretion of fear hormones, the chronic, long-term feelings of fear that are really behind much of what we call degenerative disease. And it's impossible, really, not to access these hormones, or at least turn on these hormones of fear. If you're watching the news and reading the newspapers, you ever notice everything in the news, or at least most of what you see in the news, is about fear. For some reason, we like to see what's going on that's threatening our survival. We are obsessed with survival threats. Everywhere you turn, there's these incentives to feeling fear. What does that do for you? If you understand that fear is responsible for hormones of disease and hormones of destruction and hormones of catabolism, or hormones of breakdown, I should say, why would we want to indulge? Why would we want to indulge in fear, 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 fear? If something is making you feel fear, aside from just a quick get out of this situation right away type of fear, if something's making you feel fear chronically, long term, get away from that. Stay away from that. Don't pay attention. It's not doing you any good. Again, aside from a quick emergency type of situation, long-term chronic fear does not do us any good via this hormonal connection. Fear leads to feelings of fear, or thoughts of fear lead to hormones of fear. Hormones of fear lead to breakdown of the body and ultimately disease. Conversely, hormones of safety, or feelings of safety and thoughts of safety, and then hormones of safety lead to building, lead to repair, lead to pleasure, lead to anti-aging, lead to everything we like about being alive. Is it an indulgence? No. Is it some kind of addiction to pleasure because we want to feel safe? No. It's biologically appropriate. And please don't underestimate how important this can be. Now, certainly oxygen and water and the mighty 90 essential nutrients in the foods we eat are very important when it comes to supporting the secretion of hormones of safety. But the thoughts we think and the feelings we feel must not be marginalized or diminished in importance. Pain, excess sugar, lousy thoughts, lousy feelings, these are surefire ways to initiate fear hormones and ultimately degeneration and degenerative disease. While less food, more protein, essential fatty acids, the mighty 90 essential nutrients, oxygen, water, kind, loving thoughts, massage, pleasing sensations, light touch, pleasing feelings. These are all ways that we can turn on hormones of safety, hormones of repair, hormones of health, hormones of wellness. These are all in our control. less food, more protein, essential fatty acids, water, oxygen, mighty 90 essential nutrients, which you can get, of course, in the Healthy Start Pack. Kind thoughts, touch, massage, all of these. These are all ways that we can control our hormones. These are all ways that we can control our health. Another way you can classify hormones is by their chemistry and their biochemistry effects. You've got short-acting hormones. These are water-soluble. You've got long-acting hormones. These tend to be fatty hormones, and we talk about steroid hormones. These are long-acting hormones, as opposed to the quick-acting hormones, which tend to be protein-based, or peptides as they're called. And then you have these super short-acting substances, and we're going to talk about those because those are incredibly important and incredibly fascinating. When people talk about their hormones, they're typically talking about their steroid hormones. Progesterone, which has important relaxing effects. Estrogen, which is a stimulating substance, potentially toxic substance as well. Testosterone, which is a building substance. And cortisol, which is a stress management hormone. All these hormones are responsive to the environment. And all of these hormones are potentially, anyway, long-acting anti-aging, healing, and protecting substances. These steroid fatty hormones are the products of many cells, including skin cells, brain cells. Both the skin cells and brain cells make steroid hormones. But primarily, steroid hormones are made in the adrenal glands and in the sex glands. After menopause, a woman's steroid hormones are going to come from her adrenal glands. And this is very important because the adrenal glands are also making stress hormones. And the more stress hormones a woman is making, the less hormones are going to be, the less raw material is going to be available to make hormones of building and hormones of youth and hormones of repair. That means more stress, less repair. More stress, more aging. That's why it's so important to understand how to manage the stress response, especially as we get older and especially for women who are very dependent on adrenal estrogen, adrenal testosterone, adrenal progesterone, adrenal steroids in general after menopause. If you're a woman and you're being talked into hormone replacement therapy, you might want to consider keeping your adrenal glands strong and healthy and unburdened before you dose yourself with toxic hormone replacement therapy. Now, mostly toxic hormone replacement therapy involves estrogen. I'm not saying that all estrogen is a toxin, but it is potentially via chemicals, via metabolism that occurs in the body. The body can actually turn estrogen into toxic estrogen. I would be staying far away. If I was a woman, I'd be staying far away from estrogen replacement therapy. And I know I got a lot of friends who dispense estrogen replacement therapy, and there's a lot of women who love their estrogen replacement therapy. But you know what? If you're on a hormone replacement therapy, estrogen, read the package insert. Read about the blood clots. Read about the heart attacks. Read about the cancers, the breast cancer especially. I'm telling you, it's especially if you haven't focused on adrenal health, man, you are missing the boat if you're on hormone replacement therapy and you haven't first focused on your adrenal glands. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back with your phone calls after this. Don't go away. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our call-in number if you've got questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs. If you want to get off your meds and get on a nutritional supplement program, we can help you do that. If you have a success story you'd like to share, love hearing those. Or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 855-660-4261 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised on the program, or if you want to join the Bright Side Ben team, please call the phone team at 866-735-2470 or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com. Okay, we'll continue talking about hormones tomorrow. We'll talk about the other hormones. Not all hormones are steroid hormones, as it turns out, even though those are the ones that most of us think about when we talk about our, quote, hormones, unquote. And we'll talk about some other very interesting hormones that we have control over, that we want to have control over if we want to be healthy. And then we'll talk about some really cool hormones that are very ephemeral, vapor-like, gas hormones. You have hormones in the body that function, that are actually gases. And then you also have hormones in the body that are super quick acting, that are forms of essential fatty acids. If you've ever wondered why essential fatty acids are so darn important, the ultimate EFAs, for example, why they're so helpful, why they're so multifunctional, why they're so absolutely vital, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how essential fatty acids get turned into these unbelievably important, fast-acting hormones that nobody ever talks about and whose deficiencies are behind many, many forms of degenerative disease. We'll talk about that tomorrow and in the coming days as we continue our discussion on hormones, hormone health, all as it has to do with the amino acid arginine. All right, 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's hit the phones. Nina in Austin, what's going on? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. What's going on? How can we help you?
I have a younger brother that has been diagnosed with epilepsy.
Okay.
And he has seizures quite often. It usually is when he wakes up.
Okay.
And now it's just happening very occasionally. So I was wondering, and he's not really into taking, the doctors actually haven't prescribed any meds yet, and he's
What
not
kind
really
of seizures?
wanting to take the meds.
Nina, what kind of seizures?
You know, I really don't know the type of seizures they are.
Okay. Does he convulse? Does he convulse, or does he stare, or is he like...
No. He convulsed.
He convulses. Okay. All right. Here's the deal with seizure disorders. The brain is an electrical system. The whole body's an electrical system. But the brain is super duper electrical. It's conducting electricity. A seizure is a short circuit. Simply put, it's a short circuit. So the electrical energy doesn't flow the way it's supposed to be flowing. It flows in this chaotic fashion. So then the question becomes, what causes the energy in the brain, the electrical energy in the brain, to short circuit? And you're always going to find, should come as no surprise if you've listened to this program, you're always going to find inflammation, micro-inflammation, not big inflammation. This is so important. We talk about inflammation all the time as a major cause of disease. I'm not talking about broken leg or swollen ankle, black eye inflammation. I'm talking about microscopic inflammation, a beaver's dam that surrounds the cells. This beaver's dam that surrounds the cells keeps the brain cells, in the case of seizures, keeps the brain cells from being fed, keeps the brain cells from being oxygenated, and keeps the brain cells from being able to eliminate their toxins and their poisons. So again, it's toxicity, as we say all the time, starvation, suffocation, toxicity. That leads to inflammation, which leads to more starvation, suffocation, and toxicity. So what do? Well, clearly, you feed the body, you nutriate the body to eliminate the starvation, and that means mostly the micronutrients. I'll tell you specific ones here in a second. And then it means suffocation, restoring oxygen to the area, eliminating suffocation, if you will. And then it means helping the body detoxify, most especially by not putting the toxins in the body. So first and foremost, the nutritional component. The best thing you could do, the most important micronutrients, I should say, for epilepsy are electrical nutrients. B vitamins, must have, high doses, beyond tangy tangerine, all the B vitamins, all of them. First thing in the morning, if your brother, you said your brother, right?
Yes.
If your brother's gone to the bathroom once or twice, he's not supplementing, first thing in the morning, he's going to be deficient in his B vitamins. On top of that, first thing in the morning, we get a surge of a hormone called cortisol, which is designed to get us up and about in the morning. Also, we get a surge of a hormone called serotonin, which I'm sure you've heard of, which is a daytime alertness hormone. A big jolt of serotonin, a big jolt of cortisol, under conditions of nutritional deficiency, very likely could lead to surgery, understandably. So make sure your brother is using the B vitamins. I'd be taking them before I went to bed if I was him, and I would certainly take them first thing in the morning and throughout the day. Vitamin C can also be helpful. And then essential fatty acids are a must-have for all brain health issues. Get them on the Ultimate EFA. Get them on the Healthy Start Pack. Have them start sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long, but especially first thing in the morning. And then also before he goes to bed, he might want to do a little bit of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine as well. Excess sugar not only is a toxin, but it can also spark electrical energy. And he's got an electrical problem, so keeping the electrical energy stable is very important. Avoiding spikes in electrical energy, which sugar can cause, is important. And this is where the ketogenic diet comes in. And anybody who has a seizure disorder, if your doctor has not told you about the ketogenic diet, you need another doctor. You actually don't need any doctor, but you certainly don't want to go to the one you're going to if he doesn't know about the ketogenic diet. Let me spell that for you, Nina. It's K as in King, ETOGENIC, ketogenic diet. It's a high protein, fat, a high protein, high fat, or they say moderate protein, moderate fat. But basically, it's low sugar diet, low carbohydrate diet. Some specific nutrients in addition to the B complex and essential fatty acids. Magnesium can be very helpful, so can carnitine, and so can coenzyme Q10. Long story, and also oxygen. Don't forget deep breathing. Slow, deep breathing techniques, lack of oxygen, suffocation, a buildup in carbon dioxide, all of which can follow shallow breathing or poor breathing techniques can also be problematic. So make sure he's practicing his deep breathing techniques. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nina. Have a beautiful day. I hope we helped you out. Okay, God bless. Take care, man. Take care, ma'am. Okay, let's go to Florida. Welcome, Rod, to the Bright Side. What's up, Rod? How you doing?
Good, Ben. I was just having a question about flax seeds and their potential link to cancer because of the alpha-linolenic acid.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I know what you're talking about.
Can you explain to me what their rationale is and what they're trying to accomplish by this warning?
By freaking people out about flax seeds. First of all, let's talk about the good stuff in flax seeds. They're amazingly filled with nutrients, especially, as you mentioned, essential fatty acids. The problem is in something called lignans, Lignins, and lignans have an estrogenic effect. And estrogen has been associated with certain types of cancer, as most of you know. But I'm not buying it because estrogen, the estrogenic effects of flax seeds and the flaxseed lignans are so mild and so gentle and so benign, I'm not convinced that they can be responsible for cancer. There's also a problem with the instability of the essential fatty acids in flax seeds, and some people feel like when flax seeds, and it's really flax oil, by the way. It's not flax seeds so much as flax oil. Some people feel when the flax oil is processed, it can create toxic forms of fat, and it's really the processing of the flaxseed oil more than the flax seeds themselves. Hang tight, Rod. I'll finish up when we come back from our break. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you when we come back from our break as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on the Bright Side talking to Rod in Florida. Rod, real quickly here. So there's three things with flax. Is Rod still there, by the way? Rod? Okay, Rod, you there, buddy? Rod?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, three things about flax seeds. I'm going to go quickly here. I want to get to some more calls. Three things about flax seeds. Number one, you've got the lignans, Lignins, which have some estrogenic properties. Some people think might be associated with prostate cancer, maybe breast cancer. I'm not buying it. In fact, I believe that these lignans actually have a protective effect. The second factor is omega-3 fatty acids, like you mentioned, the alpha-linolenic acid. A couple things about that. You want to make sure that you have omega-6s and your omega-3s in balance. So if you take too much flaxseed oil or you just use flaxseed oil as a source of your EFAs and you're not getting enough omega-6s, and I know some people don't think that is possible because all the omega-6 oils we eat, but it is possible because just because you eat an omega-6 rich oil doesn't mean you're actually getting omega-6s. So some of us, if you're just doing flaxseed oil straight, you may be getting out of balance. Your omega-3s might be out of balance with your omega-6s. And omega-3s, by the way, are alpha-linolenic acid. That's the parent omega-3 fatty acid. And the second thing is the processed omega-3 fatty acids. It may be an issue of processing, of heating and cooking, which can damage those essential fats. But the word essential means you got to have it, and alpha-linolenic acid is essential. So to say that an essential fat by itself causes cancer, in and of itself causes cancer, is associated with cancer, I just find that a tough sell. And that's my response, although I know there's a couple studies that talk about that. I'm just skeptical.
How long has this study been out main?
How long has it been known that, or it's been thought that this?
How long has it been contested? How long has this connection been made?
There was a study that came out a couple years ago, and I saw a second study recently, but there's not a lot of literature. It's difficult. There's not a lot of literature to support that idea, given the essentiality, the really important nature of omega-3s, I find that just difficult to believe. It hasn't been a long time. Flax seeds, by the way, can be toxic. The immature flax seeds can be toxic, and you got to be careful with flax seeds a little bit. So it's not like it's all good when it comes to flax seeds, but certainly food-based or food flax seeds that have been approved for food use, they have some wonderful nutrients, including vitamin E, the omega-3 fats, and protein as well, in addition to other phytonutrients, plant nutrients.
In a box of it in Walmart, then you're pretty safe.
I'm sorry, say that again. You're kind of cutting out.
A box of flax seeds in Walmart on a pretty safe?
I would. Did you say Walmart?
Or
I'm having a hard time hearing you, bro. The best way to get your flax seeds is to go to the bulk food section at Whole Foods or a health food store and get golden organic flax seeds in the bulk food section. It'll cost you about $1.50 a pound, maybe $2 a pound, and a pound of flax seeds will last you easily if you do like maybe 15 grams a day, which is a tablespoonful a day or 2 tablespoonfuls a day. That'll last you 1 to 2 months for $1.50. That's you got to grind them up though, and that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Okay.
all right, thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Rod. Have a great day, buddy. $1.50 a pound for flax seeds. It's $1.50 for a 2-month supply or 1-month supply of flax seeds, depending on how much you use. That's incredible, really. Okay, Jerry in Kansas, what's up? Welcome to the Bright Side. Jerry.
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's
Yes.
going on? How you doing?
This is Jerry. I'm a 51-year-old male. I've had celiac and candida yeast for over 15 years. I spent over $100,000, been over 40 doctors. I've been on a vegetable diet.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Since then, eat avocados every day. I've been following your program, Dr. Waller's program. I did a 3-day juice fast here about 3 months ago, trying to identify any foods that might be bothering me. And then I turned around a month later, did a 4-day water fast. I can't eliminate any of the foods, but I just can't beat this yeast.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can beat the yeast. Here's the deal. Eat a couple things. First of all, you may have your celiac disease may not be totally controlled, and that will definitely be a problem. So if it's not totally controlled, you really want to be very vigilant to symptomology and start to tease out the specific triggers, what's causing those symptoms, and then eliminate those symptoms. Secondly, you may not have completely patched up your gut. You still may have damage. Even if you've controlled the celiac, you still may have damage to the gut, and that can also cause yeast. So start to patch up the gut. Get the Fucoid Z and get the digestive enzymes, ultimate enzymes after all your meals. Use apple cider vinegar. Make sure you're using the BioLumin Nightly Essence, 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at night, as well as fermented foods. Eating less food is in your interest. Of course, I'm sure you know about gluten and proteins that are found in grains and seeds. Those can be problematic. But you know what? Vegetables can be problematic too. So you want to be kind of linking any kind of symptoms to veggies that you might be eating. Certainly fruits can be a problem. Any kind of sugar can be a problem as well. Yeast is definitely beatable, but you got to learn how to control the digestive system, watch out for problem foods, and make sure that you're using probiotics, good bacteria. There's a very important balanced relationship between good bacteria in the gut and yeast. They live in balance. When the good bacteria in the gut die off, the yeast overgrow. The probiotics, the good bacteria, are supposed to control the yeast, but when they die off, that control, there's nothing there to control the yeast, and the yeast overpopulate or overgrow. Antibiotics, even if you're eating correctly, antibiotics in the water, antibiotics in fish and in dairy and in meat, all of that can kill probiotics as well. So you got to make sure that you got enough probiotic bacteria. Again, the BioLumin Nightly Essence and fermented food. You're patching up the gut with the Fucoid Z. A glutamine powder can help you patch up the gut as well. Maybe a teaspoon of glutamine powder every day. Also, using things like noni juice, aloe juice, those can have a soothing effect on the gut. You know, the glucogel caps can also have a nice reparative effect on the gut. And same with bone soup. Make yourself some nice bone soup, chicken soup with the bones, and that can also help repair the gut. Digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar, lecithin, bile salts, these are all wonderful strategies. And bile salts is B-I-L-E. Bile salts can all have wonderful reparative effects on the digestive tract and also help you process your food. As long as you have the yeast, though, Jerry, you probably still have an issue with the gut. Even if you're pretty much under control, or you think you're under control, you probably do still have a gut issue. Okay?
All right, I've been on most of those supplements you've been talking about for quite a while, and I've just done a lot of things.
So you still have, well, you haven't done everything, my friend. You still have symptoms, digestive symptoms?
Yes.
Okay, like what? Like what?
I finally got my bowels working one time a day, but I don't have 3 bowel movements a day like it should.
Well, it's not the amount of bowel movements necessarily per day. It's how, how close to eating a meal or eating food that you have a bowel movement. You want to have a bowel movement 6 hours or so after a meal. It's not, if you only eat once a day, you're not going to have 3 bowel movements a day probably. So it depends on how much you eat. What you want to look at is how many bowel movements you have after meals. If you are constipated, you have a problem evacuating, your stools aren't like good solid stools, those those are definitely problems with the digestive system, and you need to connect those up with food. So it's a little bit tough, it's a process, but as long as you have those issues, there's some kind of food problem. You can't have a bowel movement problem or gas or bloating or any of the other symptoms unless there's some kind of food that you're not processing correctly, and it's your job to find that food. The yeast, you don't want to look at killing off the yeast. There's strategies to kill off the yeast. Coconut oil can be used to kill off the yeast. Oregano can kill off the yeast. Cayenne can help kill off the yeast. There's all these strategies that you'll see advertised by people who don't understand nutrition for killing yeast, but they're just going to come back. They grow like crazy. So it doesn't do you any good to kill the yeast. You got to stop them from overpopulating, and that involves the bacteria and the digestive process. Now, I want to take one more call, Jerry. I hope we helped you out. If you got any more questions, feel free to either call back on our next episode, or you can send me an email, ben@ksco.com. All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate your call, man.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get one more in. Carl, the Truth Raider, what is up? Welcome back to the Bright Side, bro.
Good morning, Ben. I have a question for you. What is in the containing properties in the sweetener known as Rejuva Sweet, the first ingredient in Beyond Tangy Tangerine?
Rejuva Sweet's kind of an interesting non-sweetener sweetener. I mean, it doesn't have any sugar in it, but I should say non-sugar sweetener. And I think you're referring, you said Beyond Tangy Tangerine, right?
That's correct.
That's that Rejuva Sweet is a citrus-based sweetener, and it turns out that there's actually compounds in citrus that can enhance the sweetness of ordinary sweeteners. I think they use a compound or complex of fructose and citrus extract, and that citrus extract can bump up the sweet flavor of fructose, and they put that in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine because vitamins don't taste very good, and if you don't have a little bit of sweetener, a little bit of flavor anyway, to a sweetener, you're not going to vitamins, I should say, it's not going to be very palatable. And that's the problem with vitamin drinks. And that's why you don't see a lot of vitamin drinks around. But at the same time, when you drink your nutrients, you get much, much faster and more complete absorption, especially if you're dealing with a digestive health issue. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining us on The Bright Side. If you're interested in joining the Bright Side Ben team, I'd love to have you on my team, especially if you're a business builder. If you understand business and you want to make a lot of money selling longevity products and helping spread the word, call the Bright Side Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. Tell them you want to join the team, or head over to brightsideben.com and click on the Join the Team link. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about hormones. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.